A policeman finds a baby in the trash. 25 years later, he received an unexpected call. Michael Good was born in the state of California. He has always been a kind-hearted man and very determined in the things he did. He was a police officer for years. One morning on November 21, 1989, suddenly the officer was startled by a strange noise. He decided to follow the sound, and as he got closer, the sound got louder and louder. The policeman decided to get out of the car to go to the scene calmly. After all, he wasn't sure what's going on. He followed the noise to a corner that was well known for having robberies, and that was already a cause for concern for the officer. As soon as he returned to the corner, Miguel was surprised to see a group of people who seemed to be very distressed. They ran towards the policeman and he asked him to explain what was happening. One of the women who was with the group, already with tears in her eyes, pointed towards the dumpster that was a few meters away from everyone. She walked towards the large metal structure, and as she walked, she began to hear sounds similar to what she was hearing from the other corner. He began to wonder why people hadn't gotten that baby out of there. He was extremely weak, but he was still breathing, which was very important. After all, Michael still had a chance to save the baby. The baby started crying a lot, struggling because he still had a certain amount of trash and dirt covering him. He definitely couldn't believe his eyes and began to think about how cruel someone had been to the point of doing that to a poor creature. Michael slowly and carefully pulled the baby out of the trash. He was relieved to see the baby was breathing more slowly than usual. But he concluded that it was due to the length of time, and he had been practically suffocated by the garbage bags. She called the emergency services and did not let go of the child for a minute and help him securely in her arms. Within 10 minutes the ambulance arrived. Michael felt he could not leave the helpless child alone. So he did what his heart told him to do and climbed into the emergency vehicle with the paramedics and kept an eye on the little boy. The police decided to name the precious boy Adam. The doctor did several examinations and tests to see if the child was okay. And after all, what the police feared most was the baby had contracted some disease from spending so much time among various types of garbage. He still had all the mucus and stuff, and all the trash and gravel was sticking to him. Michael said he wished to adopt the boy, but another family initiated adoption first. They named him Robin Barton, and raised the 4-pound, 2 oz baby to adulthood. Mr. Barton now says he was blessed with a great family. Little Adam was adopted by a couple named Elizabeth and Daniel Fernandez, who named him Robin. He grew up in a loving home and enjoyed his childhood, but there was one thing that troubled a little boy. One day Robin's adopted parents thought it was the perfect time to tell him what had happened to him as a baby. They knew that this police officer was special and had a good heart, because the day he was rescued the officer went above and beyond the call of duty. Michael never forgets that fateful day. He went on with his life and police work, but from time to time, he wondered what had happened to the baby he had rescued from the dumpster. After serving for years on the police force, he retired. Robin, along with his adoptive parents, managed to locate Officer Michael, and they made contact for the first time through a phone call and set up a meeting. The young man was extremely happy, but at the same time apprehensive. After all, he was going to meet the person who saved his life, and the meeting made him nervous. Robin wanted to understand why he had cared so much about the baby he rescued. Robin was extremely grateful, and he hadn't even have enough words to thank his rescuer. The young man explained that even though he had never met his mother, he saw that he wanted to personally forgive her for her abandonment. So he asked Michael for help to see if the former officer still had contacts with the police, could track her down and help him find her. Michael agreed to help find him, mostly because he thought it was very nice gesture on his part. A few months after the request, Robin received an unexpected call from Michael, who with great sadness in his voice told her about the sad discovery he had made about his mother. She tried to execute someone, and that this woman behind bars. She abandoned Robin at the dump when she was 19 years old. Robin fell into tears, only wishing he had the opportunity to meet her in person. It was extremely difficult for Robin to accept all that, but Michael and his biological parents were there to support him. In efforts to address baby abandonment, some countries across Europe install baby boxes, which enable parents to leave their infants in a location that will ensure the baby will be safe. Indiana is one of the first states to propose the installation of such boxes. Critics have argued that while well-intentioned, these boxes miss the mark. Many babies are abandoned due to the lack of support or resources on the parents' end. So wouldn't it make more sense to provide parental support rather than encourage troubled parents to abandon their children? Baby boxes do not operate in the best interest of the child or the mother, said Maria Herzog, a sociologist and member of the United Nations Committee on the Rights of the Child, the Monitor reported previously. The UNCRC calls for the boxes to be banned. They encourage women to give birth in unsafe and life-threatening conditions.